That buck did the old Harry Houdini, just disappearing act. That thing was huge. He was over in here, and then I went behind the ridge to stay out of sight when I was stalking him. I moved when his head was down, and when I get over there, no buck. It's almost embarrassing. I've let him out of my sight for a minute or two, and sure enough, I can't find him anywhere, and it just looks so open. Looks like I should be able to pick him out no problem. That deer was pretty big. Just seeing that buck made my trip.
Giant mule deer can live in some big, wide open country. The mountains of Nevada have what it takes to grow big deer, but taking one with a bow is never easy. Almost any unit in the state could produce a Boone & Crockett buck. Limited tags and difficult stalking conditions can allow deer the opportunity to grow old. The biggest deer will have deep forks on their bifurcated antlers and spreads that can reach 30 inches. Early season mule deer can be the best table fare, as they are fat from feeding on high alpine grasses through the summer, as they build up their strength for the coming fall.
Not the big one, just a couple of younger, smaller bucks. The search continues.
I've been hunting for a week. I had an opportunity to buck on my first stalk, but missed. For this hunt, that miss was not the end of the story, but the beginning. I continued to hunt hard and stumbled onto a true giant.
I'm back in the same general area as I saw that really big buck. I figured he'd come back here and glass for the evening. I just cannot figure out what happened. I mean, I don't know if he spooked and ran off, or maybe he just casually sauntered off and bedded somewhere I couldn't see. But if he's still in here, I'd like to know. Maybe try to figure out what happened.
I know that big buck should be in this general area, so I'm going to keep looking. I really have no clue where he went. It was like he just vanished into thin air. I don't know how many times I have heard the saying, big bucks didn't get that way by being stupid.
There's a buck bedded up under a tree up above me here. I'm just gonna stalk in and see how close I can get, and if it happens to be a nice one, then I'll take it. But there's too much trees. It's like antlers are in the trees, so I can't really tell at all how big he is. Too bad, little guy. About 4 days from now, I might be chasing a buck like that and want to shoot him, but for right now, seeing a big buck earlier this morning, I'm just gonna have to pass up smaller bucks. If I see a nice 4-pointer or a big 3x3, then I probably won't hesitate, because any deer with a bow when you're filming yourself is a pretty good one. For the last little part of the day, I decided to go on a serious walkabout and just kind of cruise to where I think the bucks might be at their elevation, because it's getting late. Spotting them from across the canyon is not going to do me any good. Might as well spot him within 300 or 400 yards. Maybe have time for a last minute stalk.
If you want to see more from behind the scenes or get some exclusive mobile content, connect with us on our website or social media at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
I shift my focus to the big buck and relocate closer to where he's living. Even though I've not yet seen him again, I now know that a buck of that caliber is living in the area, and I still have a little time to try and find him.
A lot of extremes this week. It goes from you can be too hot in about 10 minutes to freezing cold, pouring down rain, trying to find shelter, or just getting off the top of the mountain because the lightning's so bad. Kind of scatters the deer out and makes it a little bit tougher because a lot of times they'd be more concentrated on water, but you just can't expect this kind of weather, this kind of rain and moisture. But it makes it cool. You know, it's not as hot as it is some years, so that's nice.
I continue to hunt. Day after day I search, but come up empty. It appears that the big buck has completely vanished. My time is winding down, and my patience is wearing thin. It leads me to wonder if I shouldn't change my focus to some of the other deer that are living in this area.
300 yards. The wind's in my face, so the only way I could see feasible for stalking would be to get around and then come up the backside. He's bedded there, but the wind will be kind of blowing toward him at some point in that stalk. Bow hunting's hard enough, filming yourself's hard enough. It's hard to pass on a nice buck like that. Just gotta decide. I like to make my decisions at about 30 yards though. Bucks started out at 50 yards. Now they're at 70 right there. Smaller 3 points. And I've seen that big buck, so it's just real hard to take a deer that I'd probably normally take a buck like that. Would be great. Right now they're just a little too small until it gets down to the wire, because I still do want to come home with a buck, at least for nothing else for the meat. Well, I mean, that's the whole point anyways, but if you can hunt for a big buck for a while and then when it comes down to the wire, try to take a smaller one, that's cool too. I've got a group of bigger bucks down below me this morning. They're just feeding over this ledge. What I'm gonna do is wait for them to get out of sight and then make my stalk down there. The wind's pretty good, so long as I can stay out of their view. There's a couple nice bucks in there. There's one good 4x4, and there's a big buck that's a 2x3, but I'll definitely shoot it if I can get a shot, because it's pretty cool looking. It's pretty big frame on him. Yeah, it'd be kind of neat. There's actually quite a few bucks in there that are good enough. Give it a chance, give it a go. into the sun. But I don't really have a lot of option. If they've crested the hill and they're on the other side, I may have a decent shot. The advantage when I first started out, but now the ball's in their court. They've moved to a place of safety. I don't really stand a chance in here unless I know exactly where they are. Well, didn't work out as planned. It was close though. I just took my shoes off and I was gonna start stalking in. I heard something 40 yards away. A small 4-point came out. I'd seen a bigger 3x3 in the group, so I was hoping to see that one. So I just waited. I mean, I could have shot that 4-point, but he kind of moved off, and then I thought, well, maybe I will shoot that buck. And I grunted at him, but he stopped right behind the tree, and then I don't know if he caught my wind or saw something. He took off, and then the other ones busted out the opposite direction. So that was pretty close. Snuck in 40 yards. Just gotta make it happen next time.
Brought to you by Solo Hunter Brand Apparel and the Solo Nation. Boast your brand today. Enjoy the Solo Hunter revolution.
I'm just set up right here to glass this big valley. Sun's just starting to peek up and I've got good cloud cover, so it's gonna stay pretty dark for most of the morning. I've only got pretty much today, maybe tomorrow afternoon to hunt. And then I gotta head back and the season's gonna be over anyways. So I'm gonna give it my best shot today. If I see anything with 4 points on one side, I'm gonna go after it. Probably even 3x3. I mean, it's getting down to the tail end for me, so any buck will be a good buck at this point. I'm just gonna kind of overlook this big valley and glass. I've got some bucks going to this water hole right below me. I'm just gonna wait and let him get on the water and then sneak in about 180 yards. I'm gonna sneak down. Out pretty well. That was cool. Oh, I'm excited. If you haven't tried this spot and stock mule deer and film it archery, then you might not understand the feeling of when it actually comes together. I think this may be my first Nevada archery buck that I've got successfully on video. About 30 minutes haven't seen him come out, so I'm sure he's right in there. Go see if I can't find my arrow and hopefully walk right up on the buck. Hard to see. Sweet. Oh, nice buck. Cool. Yeah, it's a nice buck. Especially for the end of the season, not having a whole lot of time and really wanting to get it on film as well. I'm pretty pumped. The fact that he has 4 points is just an added bonus because I really was just hoping to be able to take a buck this trip. And I had a lot of opportunity, more than most years. And I just finally was able to connect on this buck. And it just makes it all that much sweeter to be able to get a deer and get it on film and take it with my bow. I'm just pretty pumped on it. It's cool. Get them all quartered and packed up, take them back to camp, and maybe cook up a little lunch. That'd be perfect.
It seems rare to be glad you missed a bigger buck, but on this trip, I would not have had it play out any other way. I set my sights on a big deer that I only saw once, but I felt lucky to have even had that opportunity. As I sit here eating fresh deer meat, I'm reminded about what it's all about for me. The struggle, the journey, the exploration of a new area, and a successful kill, with the bonus of bringing home some amazing meat.